Hey guys, Chris here from Carolette Farm. Today is the day we're breaking ground on our new winter turnout. So exciting.
We decided that we would begin digging our post holes around the center of the field, hoping that that might be some of the softer ground. And we then began working our way up closer to the tree line and closer to where the run-in shelter will be located. And so we were able to get quite a few of the holes dug before lunchtime.
It is such a beautiful day. It's probably close to 70 degrees. It's the second weekend in November now, and we are well on our way to digging all of our post holes across our new paddock fence line here. So this afternoon, it's digging more holes and tamping down the posts. After making really great progress this morning, we tamped down those first 8 posts and we started trying to dig our next few holes, and unfortunately the ground was much harder. We were only able to dig the next 3 holes partially, and so we are going to try a little trick of pouring water into the holes, letting them sit and soak, and then come back in a few days and try to see if we can't dig them further. We've never tried this, so we'll let you know how it works, but fingers crossed. These first 3 holes we were able to come back to today and finish fully digging after they soaked. And then the next 3 we have just put a little more water in so that they can soften up, and we'll come back in a few days to go ahead and finish them. Several years ago we did have Miss Utility or some other group out to do some marking for us, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that the line that they marked is actually pretty close to the fence, but we just want to be extra special careful, which is why we went ahead and stopped on the hole that we first started today. It would be post 3 off of the original fence line, but we just want to err on the side of caution and have them out here and get everything marked before we get any closer to what we know is a buried power line. If you are like us and you're encountering some hard ground that you're having trouble digging, something that we did find really helpful was to pour about a half a bucket of water into the portion of the hole that we initially dug. In this case, it was about a third to a half that we were able to dig before the ground was just too hard. And so after that water really soaked in, we even had a little rain, 1 or 2 days we had a little shower. So after, again, the ground had that time to soak and soften, we were able to successfully come back today and finish digging. So that's just a little tip. It seemed to work well for us.
After we finished digging those last couple of holes down on the lower end of the fence line, we then started putting a few of the first boards up. But unfortunately, the sun was starting to set, and so we only got the first few up. But the next day, we were back at it. We started the day off by putting more boards up, and then we had to make a decision. Where and what size gate did we want in this fence line? We decided on a 10-foot gate in the center, and we also knew that because this post was going to be holding a gate, it needed to have concrete. As gates open and close, they put a lot more wear and tear and stress on the post, and so we actually mixed up 2 bags of concrete. We poured it in, and once everything was set, we could then come back and start putting more boards up. But this was a pretty good start to the day, and after that, well, then we were on to a different project.
We have gone ahead and we've purchased 2 new blue trail gates, and they will be the entry gates for these 2 feedlots that we're building. So that was a good thing. And again, it's beautiful, it's sunny, it's 60 degrees. We're gonna get back to hopefully putting a few more boards up on that lower half of the field. And one more thing I want to show you that's been done in the last week. We had the utility locators out Monday, maybe it was, and you can see where the red lines are. Exactly where one of our posts is set to be is where the electric runs through the full length of our field here. So, one of 2 things. Either we move our post distance, kind of work on reconfiguring that, or probably what we'll do is just have to dig this by hand and be extra special careful. So glad to have it marked. Unfortunate placement, but It's better to know than not know. You know, we have been working out here for the last couple of weeks when we can. It's been a really busy fall. So, you know, it's a slow work in progress, but we are making steady progress nonetheless. We're going to have access here to the run-in, so the horses will have a nice sheltered area. We have some big plans for what we'll do in the future, but for right now, it might just be the run-in as it is. We are, however, in the process of building 2 feedlots though, because with both Lady and Sweetheart getting a sizable meal twice a day, I definitely need to have a place where I can section them off and give them their meal. So these are the 2 feedlots and they're coming along nicely. We just have to hang those gates. Here is a look at those feedlots from the back side. You know, they are going to be 12 feet long and 6 to 8 feet deep. So they'll be nice, you know, mini-sized feedlots. And I just know they'll be very, very handy. And it's looking like probably we should be able to have the horses out here come early December. You know, it's the middle to end of November now. Next week is Thanksgiving. There's a lot going on around that holiday and that week. So hopefully soon though, by the early part of December, we'll have our horses out here and then they'll have a little more grass to nibble on. This is still not a tremendous amount of grass. A lot of this summer grass has kind of died off for the winter, which I think is a good thing for the minis though, because my concern was that they might get too much grass out here, which is why we have kind of intentionally waited to do anything until later in the fall. But you can see there is a fair amount of grass down here at the bottom of the field. And so once they get out here, they're gonna mow it down pretty quick, but there'll still be more for them to nibble on and chase here than in their current paddock. So that'll be a good thing for them, especially heading into winter.
After coming back and hand digging this hole where the electric line is, we then needed to brace this post and sink it in concrete. We were not able to dig the hole quite as deep, but as we worked on this, Lady got to come out and graze for the first time. No sooner did the month of December start than it seemed as though we ended up with snowstorm after snowstorm. We had 3 snows in 10 days. So needless to say, the horses did not make the move in the first part of December. But once the snows melted, we got back to it. We finished enclosing the run-in and we tidied everything else up. And by the very end of December, Lady, Shenanigans, and Rockstar were finally able to make their move into the front winter turnout. The 3 of them were so happy to be out there on grass. They get along so well that they can share the run-in. We don't have to worry about these 3. They're just such good friends, and we were so relieved to finally have them moved before the first of the year.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed watching this kind of start to finish, video because, it was a longer process than we thought. Some things were a little more challenging than we had expected, but in the end, we got those 3 horses moved before the first of the year, and that was really fantastic. So, check back soon because I'm sure we'll have more updates. And we'll have to just wait and see how these guys continue to do and what the spring grass eventually looks like out here. And, wherever you are, stay warm, stay dry, stay safe, and we hope to see you soon. Bye, guys.